Chris here. This episode is one we came up with on the spot after a bunch of episodes we recorded, and I kind of forgot it existed. It was actually supposed to come out before the Apocalypse episode. Sorry about that. But if you can deal with that and us rambling for a good bit of it, then I think you'll find it enjoyable. Also, despite what I say, episodes come out every Tuesday. Enjoy.
Welcome y'all to Backwoods Obscura, a podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris. How you doing, Hewitt?
I find myself a little crossed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Fuck you.
What? You don't want... You don't enjoy the very, very thinly veiled dad joke in this one?
Well, we're talking about Crossroads, but...
Speaking of which, since we're talking about Crossroads, we're also drinking Jucifer.
All Hell, the Juicy India Pale Ale. What a name.
From Hammond, Louisiana. Did you just... I'm sorry, it's just one of those, like, the way the logo is, Lucifer or Jucifer does have his booty out, which is apparently juicy.
The booty is juicy. Nice little tail there. No, I find myself very cross with...
My joke that I made that you're now making?
Yeah. Okay, here on Backwoods Obscura, which is not released yet, we have a very strict schedule and very strict... we don't have anything. Let's be clear.
We have a list. We do have a list of subjects to talk about.
Yeah,
and we've added one tonight, which you weren't expecting because I insisted.
Yeah, so we've been recording and re-recording and making sure everything is good, but sometimes we just want to talk about something.
Right, and this is a subject that is near and dear to my heart. I've used it in RPGs. I have dealt with some weird stuff personally, but it is it's a southern trope.
Yeah, it's a very, very southern trope. Trup?
It's a southern trout.
No, it's a southern trope that you've probably seen before, which is the Crossroads.
Right. If you've watched, think of what, American Horror Story when they did the one in New Orleans.
Yeah, American Horror Story. If you any season of Supernatural.
Right. The Crossroads are an odd spot, especially, like, here's the deal. Inside of a big city, there's so many crossroads that you don't even stop and think about it. But if you're in the middle of nowhere, like, and let's be honest, this is going to end up tying into the Delta of Mississippi more than Louisiana necessarily, but we are in the Delta.
Yeah. Well, we're in the Delta in the sense that Delta Blues we're part of Delta Blues.
It's not just that, is technically where we live at, since we are east of the Ouachita River. Not saying where. We are in the Mississippi floodplain. Back in the 1920-something flood, we actually had 3 foot of water from the Mississippi River in our town. You could take a boat from here all the way to Mound. The big thing about the Crossroads, especially when you live in a very rural area, like where we are in Louisiana or southeastern Arkansas, or if you go to the Delta of Mississippi, where one of our stories is going to come from. Well, 2 of the stories, because I got a personal one. You run into roads that cross between each other out in the middle of goddamn forsaken nowhere. Like, I mean, you'll find crossroads at a place called Alligator, Mississippi. I doubt anybody really knows where that is, but
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places.
I mean, we've driven 61 north so many times.
Yeah, and I mean, we've driven like all over Mississippi as well as Louisiana. So,
and the thing is that crossroads, especially crossroads in the middle of nowhere, and I think this might be a universal thing, have a bit of mystique and a bit of awe because nothing is supposed to be there, and sometimes you see something there, and it kind of breaks your brain. It's similar, like kind of like the concept of the back rooms. It looks normal, but it's not.
Well, here's the thing. Like, you talking about that makes me think of the trip we did, like, years ago.
Oh, the one to get my brother-in-laws when they were
Yeah. So we went and got your brother-in-law's from a tournament.
We went all the way to Sparta, Illinois from Louisiana. So about 12 hours.
Yeah. We went all the way up there and decided, hey, it sucks trying to sleep in a car. We're just going to drive all the way back.
Yep.
And we got into Mississippi.
No, we made it very far into Mississippi where my parents currently live.
And at that point, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to...
Yeah, but we saw some odd things that night hitting multiple crossroads. But the thing is, let's talk about the supernatural, mystical thing about Crossroads. And that's because Crossroads are supposed to be a thin point in the veil, if you believe in that thing. Or it's the break in the barrier, a break in the matrix, however you want to look at this. But when you hit Crossroads, they're a weak point between us and whatever is beyond. And so weird things will happen at a crossroad, specifically because that's where they are. And if you go back into further lore, like with blues, or if you go into any type of folklore with that, it's one of those things that is a point you can meet something from another world or another reality for knowledge.
Yeah. So Robert Johnson is the biggest influence on this sort of idea. I mean, if you've ever watched Supernatural, if you ever just dove into like any sort of supernatural lore, like, and I say supernatural in the sense of like paranormal stuff, not just like Supernatural, the TV show. You hear about Robert Johnson and his deal with the devil to be able to play the guitar. You see this in one of my favorite movies, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, with one of the characters who is sold his soul to the devil to be able to play the guitar.
You mean the one that's based off of Robert Johnson?
Yeah, exactly. Like that character, which is the first time I ever heard about this sort of thing. I was a child when that movie came out, and it was like...
Let's be fair. The Odyssey, if you were to take the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey, and you were to put it anywhere else in the world, the American South hits that just right because you can find way too much weird shit down here.
Okay, so for one, the music in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is on point.
Solid.
I say this as a metalhead. I love the fucking music in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And it has influenced me throughout the years to the point to where I am currently learning guitar, like acoustic guitar. Like, not even like down tuned to fucking like drop C or whatever bullshit. I'm just trying to learn blues guitar. Yeah, so...
It has a resonance.
It has a resonance about it, and... The thing is, it's still, like, when it comes to, like, Southern lore, you always hear about, like, this sort of person that would go out there and put their soul at risk. Because in the South, we are pretty, like, it doesn't matter if you're, where you're coming from the South, you probably... come from a religious family. You probably come from a religious community in general.
And to be fair, I'm not saying it's not in other places, but in the South, the struggle is real.
Yeah.
Where I'm coming from, this is like, even like right now, I don't have Waffle House money at the moment. I don't mean that like as a joke or anything, and it's not like I'm broke. It's just that I don't have the money to go eat at Waffle House right now because I got bills to pay. So that concept is very much true in any blues song. Is I got shit to do, and I will do whatever I need to do to make sure it gets done. And that's like the deal with the devil type thing. But let's do this for anybody that might not know, because you do, because you're a music guy, and I know because I've looked into it because you mentioned it, and then Southern things, and also I've run off and on a very deep South based RPG for some folks. Explain the whole story, or tell the story of Robert Johnson and the Crossroads.
Okay, so to get into what Robert Johnson did was...
Hold on, we going whole hog that he did this for real.
Well, I will... Look, allegedly.
Allegedly, he sold his soul to...
Okay, so he went...
I love this court logic now.
He went to a lonely crossroads in Mississippi to sell his soul to play guitar. This is the progenitor of all sort of spookiness when it comes to blues. So Robert Johnson went and sold his soul to play guitar really well and ended up dying young because of it.
He wasn't even 30, was he?
I can't remember.
He was just like... You want to know a fun fact about where Robert Johnson sold his soul at?
What's that?
Famous Abe's original location, Mississippi Famous Abe's barbecue that has the tamales and really good pulled pork sandwiches, is on the location where he apparently sold his soul.
Oh, damn. Okay, so looking it up, he died at 27.
Yeah. Okay, wait. He's in that club?
Yeah, he's in the 27 club.
Well, hold on. How old was that's not Jimi Hendrix in the last Morse.
Jimi Hendrix is in the 27 club?
I thought it was 28.
No.
Oh, shit. So,
and we're doing a bit of
this is off the cuff.
Off the cuff research, but Robert Leroy Johnson, born in Mississippi, died in Mississippi, died at 27. He was born in 1911 and died in 1938. He died...
He was young.
Yeah, he died on the tail end of the Depression, right?
Around then, yeah. Well, when did he die?
1938.
38, yeah, that's towards the tail end, because really when we started, the closer you get to the 40s, we were getting out of it, but really World War II pulled us out. But the thing is that the whole thing is he sold his soul to the devil to learn how to play guitar. Or let me rephrase it, to play guitar.
And the thing is, when it comes to Robert Johnson, like, okay, so his legend is sometimes overstated, but I'm not saying that in a mean way. I'm saying that in a way that's like...
Well, he has a whole mythology connected to how he learned, because he started doing things with a guitar people didn't do back then.
Yeah. Like, when it comes to blues guitar, you probably hear a little bit of him in everything.
Well, also the warble. He's one of the first people that did the warble on his guitar, right? And that can be felt in almost every rock song from that point to today. Anybody that's
Are you talking about like
I'm not a musician. I don't know the terms, but like the warble on the guitar that makes it almost sound like it's singing itself.
Are you okay? So I don't have a guitar with me.
The next slide that makes it sound like the guitar's talking.
Okay, so like you're talking about a slide.
Yeah.
No, I mean he's not the first, but he probably popularized it.
He did it really well, but also he had that unsyncopated style, which is something I really like in music. All of a sudden there's an offbeat or there's a weird twitch to the music.
Yeah, he popularized that, but he also like if any other like real musician wants to get in on this,
you can.
We will do a redux. We will do a redux.
Oh no, we're going to come back to this because the Crossroads pop up in so many stories. Yeah. This is like one of the tropes. Like back in the day, it was there's a rabbit with a duck with an egg in it. If you're talking about Eastern European, in the U.S. and the South, it's a crossroads.
Yeah.
Like every good story has a crossroads. Even Metalocalypse had a crossroads.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the thing is, it's like when it comes to this, to Robert Johnson, he basically built the foundation to what we know as blues.
That led to
rock, rock and roll, and like...
Even to a certain degree, like there's still an influence of the way he played the guitar in metal.
It's so weird because you think of people like I brought up Sister Rosetta Tharpe recently, and like Mississippi John Hurt. We were just listening to stuff, Howlin' Wolf, things like that, and like I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking about Robert Johnson, and it's like everything he did basically built the foundation for everything.
Well, here's the thing: is with that, he even sang songs, "Me and the Devil on my tail." Yeah. And those things, saying like he fed into this myth. And the thing that's great about this is that then adds it to the lexicon and it adds it to the zeitgeist. And so, like, here's the deal. Did Robert Johnson learn to play the guitar from the Devil at a Crossroad? Probably 100% not. He practiced the hell out of it. But the thing is it a good story?
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing about the Crossroads, though. It actually leads back into something else that I've talked about with the Loa. is the Loa of the Crossroads is Papa Legba. And you always refer to Papa Legba as Papa Legba. You got to give Papa Legba respect. Much like you give Baron Samedi respect. Baron Samedi is one of the few ones you don't call Papa Samedi. Because, he's a Baron. But you call Papa Legba Papa Legba. And Papa Legba will appear at the Crossroads because he is the intermediary. He is sometimes a psychopump, depending on how you look at it, for the Loa. He is the one who communes the information because Papa Legba's easier to talk to. Hell, Papa Legba's even popped up in Castlevania recently with Castlevania Nocturne. Is that they call on Papa Legba for help in certain situations.
That's just so weird to me that that sort of mythos or legends would kind of intermingle with something
no. I'm going to
that.
say this. Go watch Nocturne. It's really solid. It doesn't follow Rondo of Blood or Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but it grabs things from it. And it also brings some stuff in from the DS games. But the big thing here is that one of the characters, and I'm not going to say who because it's a diversion from the original concept, calls on the Loa for help to use her magic. And to describe Legba, Legba is depending on the description, sometimes he's tall, sometimes he's hunched. He is an older, dark-skinned man wearing a straw hat and the clothes of a field worker. And he usually always has a very large black dog with him. That's a key note here. But the other thing about Papa Legba is whenever he removes his hat, Papa Legba is sometimes described as to have small goat-like horns extending from his graying, napped hair. So here's the deal. Let's break this down. Papa Legba is the Loa of the Crossroads. He's a god of knowledge. He's a god of understanding, and he's a teacher, similar to other Crossroad demons. Papa Legba's not a demon, but I also like the Crossroad demons like Stolas or Satan. You know what I mean? Or you hit 15 other ones from the Goetia. But the thing is that let's look at the description of Legba. Tall, horned, black dog. Who does that sound like?
I mean, it sounds like when it comes to Christian
mythology. I look, as someone who's still nominally a member of the church, I can say Christian mythology without
I wasn't going to say mythology. I didn't want to say that. Legend.
Well, here's the deal: is every religion out there has mythology, and this is something you and I this is my point, I guess. And something that I feel like we might have to get past is every religion has mythology versus canon.
Yeah.
So there's stuff that's out there that is here's the shit. All the Gnostic Gospels in Christianity are mythology. Half the stuff we believe about angels or some of the devils and all this is mythology because it might even come from frickin' Paradise Lost.
Yeah.
But the thing is that and some people can bend out of shape about this, but every religion, formal or informal, has a mythology outside of their normal. Why do Christians still fear vampires?
That's true.
That's mythology versus canon. So, I mean, the thing is that the mythology of Christianity states that if you meet a horned individual with a big black dog, who is that?
Very easy to kind of draw that distinction from the fact that even if it's not necessarily Christian, it's similar enough to where
it's along the lines of, and I'm trying to talk over you here. I'm sorry. The big thing is I'm trying to say here is that if you talk to most Judeo-Christians, which let's be fair, most Americans, especially in the South, you go to church on Sunday even if you don't necessarily believe the bullshit from the preacher. But if you saw a horned individual at the Crossroads with a black dog, no, that's Satan. That's the devil. Yeah. But the thing is that if you're not a Christian, if you're a Christian, you see that, ooh, no, I need to step away. Someone's going to try to offer me my soul. Papa Legba, on the other hand, is going to make a deal with it. He's going to teach you knowledge. Because Papa Legba holds that knowledge. He knows things because he is the intermediary between humans and the rest of the Loa. So he has the knowledge from the other world. Plus, he has knowledge from your world.
So what you're saying that Papa Legba would talk to Robert Johnson and be like, "Yo, I'm going to teach you something. Go with this angle when you're going out there and playing your music."
I'm not even going to say that. I think Papa Legba would have taught him how to play the guitar. But Robert Johnson, being a Mississippi dude in the early 1900s, the devil taught me to play. Okay, I hate to use this one. You've seen the movie Grandma's Boy, right?
Yeah.
I'm way too baked to drive to the devil's house, bro. Like, here's the deal. If all of a sudden a horned individual with a big black dog and all you've ever been taught is that's what the devil looks like and the devil teaches you this, and he goes, I traded my soul for it, and Papa Leg was like, I asked you for Skittles.
Then again, there's a lot of people that are like, back in those days, they're like pretty like cynical about religion.
To be fair, an African American dealing with Christianity for the majority of the U.S. history, I get it. I get it. But the thing is like, even if the law might even ask you for something like, but the whole concept of the soul might be different. And I mean, that's something we would have to research if we ever revisit this. But the big thing is like, I've used that in a game to where they had to go retrieve part of Papa Legba's horn because he taught some kid to play guitar and then got caught off guard and got hit in the head with a crowbar and broke off part of his horn. Stealing from the Pick of Destiny by Tenacious D, the movie. To where this dude was ripping and tearing on a guitar using part of Papa Legba's horn as a pick. And they had to go retrieve that for Papa Legba because one of the characters is the emissary of the Loa. And the thing is I really, like, the second I learned this and looked into this, I really dig this idea that maybe what you're meeting at the Crossroads is not actually the devil, but it's Papa Legba. And because you don't understand that religion, you don't understand what the Loa are, you don't understand what Papa Legba is, you have an issue with it. And the price you got to pay might be, hey, look, I take part of your life. You're going to die earlier. That might explain why Robert Johnson died. If you want to go like the full believer version of this, is that he died early because he made a deal with Papa Legba and gave up his life. And so he's sitting there. He learned how to play that guitar like a mother, but it snuffed his candle out early.
You know what'd be funny? Maybe this character is like, he just goes out, or they just go out into the Crossroads, and someone comes out, and they're like, hey, you want to talk? And it's just someone...
like, there's just like some old dude that knows how to play the guitar really well, and like the kids... let's take the 100% skeptic. Robert Johnson blazed it like a mother. And then all of a sudden went out for the Crossroads. There's just this old dude playing a guitar. And Robert Johnson goes, I play guitar too. And then all of a sudden the old dude just goes, put a limb bound down. Like, I don't know, like some really fancy guitar strings. And then Robert Johnson goes, oh shit. And then he starts learning from this dude. And if, like, he doesn't want to later the next day when someone's like, man, how'd you learn to do that? He's like, oh, I can't tell them like old man Richards was just out the road drunk.
He's like, yeah.
It was the devil. The devil taught me to do this. And everybody
like Robert Johnson was sitting there like, yeah, the devil.
I mean, that's 100%.
The devil did it.
That's the devil's lettuce did it. But it's one of those that's 100% the skeptic version of this, right?
No, I think there is like, okay, so this is my like 100% bullshit like idea is like maybe there's an interdimensional being that is like just sitting out there just fucking blazing it.
The guitar man, instead of Slender Man, it's the guitar man.
Yeah, and just like, yo bro. Yo, I just... He doesn't even know how to play guitar.
This is my new favorite cryptid, by the way.
Yeah, new favorite cryptid where it's just like a dude that's
Guitar Crossroad Man.
Guitar Crossroad Man. He's just sitting out there in the middle of nowhere in Mississippi. Fucking Robert Johnson comes out there. He's just walking home. Robert Johnson's walking home. It's fucking 1920. It's shit. It sucks. Fuck 1920.
Okay, to be fair, also, if you're an African American in the South dealing with Jim Crow at that point.
Yeah, fuck Jim Crow. I don't know who that guy is. Fuck him. Fuck the laws. But, okay, so Robert Johnson is walking out there, and he sees the devil, quote-unquote devil, just sitting there.
The devil / Papa Legba / interdimensional Guitaro Man.
And just like, yo, man, what's up? How you doing? And Robert Johnson's like, who the fuck are you? And then
that dude just delves directly into Through the Fire and the Flames on an acoustic guitar in front of him.
And he's like, damn, dude, that's fucking awesome. And then he's like, and then the devil's like, yo, you want to learn this? And
like,
it's not even...
No, dude, you know the only answer is fuck yeah, I want to learn that.
And it's not even like an exchange of like soul and talent. It's more just yo, look what I can do. And then Robert Johnson's like, yo, look what I can do. And they're just sitting there.
And then the devil's like, you got any more of that lettuce?
And no, they're just like, you know, chilling and having some fun, talking about life.
We just headcanon this into like a bromance, but
and then Robert Johnson suddenly, you know, he wakes up, he's the best guitarist alive.
But here's my deal, is that to get back to our point, because like we could fucking bullshit this forever and somehow pitch this to Hollywood and get a series. But anyway, here's the deal: is there's something about the Crossroads, other than what happened with Robert Johnson, other than with Papa Legba, is because Crossroads represent a barrier. They always represent a barrier. Because on one side of the road is somebody else's stuff, on this side of the road is somebody else's stuff. So you're hitting a 4-point. And that's always going to hit kind of a weird thing within the gut. And so barriers, edges, and that's something we've mentioned before, like with the Rougarou. Don't go in the swamp. The swamp is a barrier. When we mention the Loa, don't go into the graveyard. Don't go down this street because that is a barrier.
It's a veil.
Right.
And that veil gets thinner in places.
Where multiple veils cross. I mean, it's the edge. And we don't need to go further with that because all of a sudden it could be a very inappropriate term. But with the edge, you're at the very end of something. And that's why, like, look at where alien encounters happen. Like, supposedly abductions. Most of the time I came to a stop at a 4-way.
Yeah. You know, it's usually in a place that's like, I was sitting in my ranch in the middle of nowhere and then I got abducted. Or someone is driving on an old dirt road.
Right.
And then gets abducted.
I mean, what I'm saying is that something like this happens at these points. And, like, the only reason I'm going to really give the Crossroads a lot of credence is that, look, my parents live in the Delta of Mississippi. They moved there because my dad works for an agribusiness. So my thing is that I've had to drive up there a lot and around. There's some weird spots. There are some legit weird spots on the ride to my parents' house. Like there's literally a spot called Crossroads, Mississippi. You're in the middle of nowhere and all of a sudden there's flashing orange lights to let you know another highway crosses here. Off to the side is somebody's cow farm, which the cows are always standing there staring at you very awkwardly, like they're some type of government spy robot. Not really. The cows.
You never know. Don't. This is about the conspiracy.
New 2023 conspiracy. Cows are not real.
Cows aren't real.
They're all government surveillance.
Go out there.
We don't need to
Joe
do that.
Biden is controlling the cows.
Don't do this because we're going to create something if we do this, and we're not going to get credit or paid for it. But no, like you get there and there's cows on one side, there's corn on another, and there's like one really weird house that looks like someone put 2 trailers together to imitate a plantation home. But so you get there and like there's weird stuff all the time. Most of the time it's a cop chasing somebody. But then you get to when I have to go around Greenville, Mississippi. There's one spot in the back, and I will give this as a personal account, is I'm driving home late because like I went up and helped my parents. I took my son up there so he could visit because my son, he has to see Pawpaw. He has to see Pawpaw, and Pawpaw is about to be 60, so Pawpaw has to see the grandbabies because you know he's realizing age is a thing. So you get around Greenville, and instead of going straight through Greenville, you can take a left, and you go through some country roads. And there is one that is like the atypical perfect spot that if you were going...
Can I ask something?
Yes.
Does the country road take you home?
It depends on which way you're going.
To a place where you belong?
Only if I'm traveling south back to my house in this situation. If I'm traveling north, I don't belong at my parents' house because I'm a grown-ass man and I don't need to live in my parents' house. And I don't like to sleep in my parents' house because... They buy the really, really hard beds. Anyway, back to the point. There's this one crossroads just to the east of Greenville. And there's one time I'm driving home late. I helped my parents with something. I dropped him off, but I'm not sleeping in one of the 3 antique beds they have in their house for guests because I'm not sleeping in something that knows what the Great Depression smelled like.
God damn it.
But look, there's one of them that knows what the Spanish-American War smells like.
I only remember, like, sleeping at your parents' house when we went. Again, I think this is the same episode where we talked about...
Yeah, this about like 30 minutes ago, we were driving back from Sparta, and you like went... I slept on the couch, and you went and crashed in a bed that knew what the 1800s was like.
Look, I didn't eat... Okay, so, just to be clear, I didn't know where I was sleeping. Your dad was like...
Over here.
Go in this room... onto that thing that vaguely looks like a bed. And then I woke up the next day and you were like sitting on the couch
where I slept.
Yeah, and I didn't know what fucking happened. I really, like, legit was just...
We in a 24-hour period, Chris and I drove about 21 hours. Any case, so the thing is that if you take that route around, I was coming home one night late, and there is one, like, of course, there's the one flickering freaking light. To make it not sound real, there's the one flickering street light, because you're not quite outside of Greenville.
Yeah.
Like, you can see the back of the Lowe's from over here. And all of a sudden, the light's flickering, and I look over, and there's a very, very tall man with a very, very large black dog holding a guitar case. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep on fucking going.
Yeah, no. I understand that.
So, I mean, here's the thing is that I don't... Okay, could have been I was tired? Yes. Could have been I saw something weird? Yes. Could have just been a dude with his dog walking back from the bar that was like maybe 200 yards away? Totally.
But
it also hits a very like that's weird.
Okay, so I actually want to talk about this because we've done this road a lot, and not just together. We've gone to Memphis, Tennessee a lot.
Yeah,
I actually went to Memphis a couple of times because
food.
Food, but me and Ruby went up there because we have a friend that lives up there. But there was a time when I was heading home. It was me and my wife. We were heading home and we got turned around like really badly.
How'd you get turned around on 61?
We decided, okay, so we were in Mississippi. We were heading down, and then we just took I don't remember the specifics, but we took the wrong right, and we were just in...
Oh, you went through some of the deep delta.
Yeah, we went through some of the back roads, and just to give you an idea on how bad it was about 6:30 when this happened. So by the time we started actually righting ourselves and getting on the right path, it was pretty dark, and we weren't still clear on if we were heading home. So we were on the back roads in Mississippi/Louisiana heading home, and it was probably the most nerve-wracking experience. Not because we were like in like a quote bad area. It was just the fact that it almost felt like untraversed roads. And then you would get to a road that was what you would picture in your head as like a crossroad. You would hit this road that was in the middle of a valley, that was in the middle of crops, in the middle of nowhere. And then we would have to sit there and wait for your map, the Google map,
the GPS to actually recalculate.
And like, so you would have to slow down and be like, okay, so which way am I going? I'm gonna just sit here and wait to see. And so you had that anxiety build up in the back of your head. Now, just to give you an idea, like, me and Ruby already had a bit of anxiety in Arkansas, of course, heading out into... We had a little bit of anxiety heading out into Tennessee and Arkansas when it came to getting gas, because she was like, okay, we can wait to get gas. And then it turned out...
No.
You can't wait to get gas.
Once you get past Montrose... Like, you better get gas. Like,
Yeah.
drive over Lake Village, get gas, and then keep going north.
Yeah, and then we got gas in a small town. I cannot remember. It's just over the, just out of Marouge.
Out of Marouge, that would be Oak Ridge.
No, it was a little bit past Oak Ridge. It was like a 300-person town.
Ooh.
And we got gas there, and it was the most nerve-wracking shit I have ever been in. Followed by the most nerve-wracking shit coming back in the middle of the night on a fucking crossroads. So, getting back into what we were talking about, crossroads suck in terms of just traveling at night, but also in just, like, I can understand why they have so much mythos, because you're in the middle of nowhere, and then there's like 3 other options in front of you.
True. I mean, here's the deal. We're urbanites. We live in a city. So it's one of those things when you get from urban versus rural, and that's where a lot of horror movie tropes come from, is that it's unknown and you don't know it. Like, hell, think about driving through Winsboro.
Oh,
and that's still a city. But in any case, let me ask you this. Crossroads, magical or not?
I'm going to say magical, actually.
I'm going to go with the same thing. Like, they're otherworldly might be a better way.
Yeah, otherworldly. I am a skeptic at heart. I am a Louisiana skeptic, though, and I'm not going to test these.
No. It's one of those, if I see someone at the crossroads staring at me, I'm going to keep rolling because I don't need to sell my soul for anything currently.
Tip a hat if you have one, and keep going.
Maybe throw a tip.
Throw a tip. Just keep going.
So I think this was a fun little off-the-cuff episode.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I hope to come back to it to have more preparation.
Oh, no, I'm eventually going to talk about Papa Legba in one of these episodes because I feel it'd be fun to talk about each of the Loa and try to do them the respect they deserve.
Oh, definitely. But for now, we are going to cut it here. And where can we find...
Okay, whenever this ends up on the podcatcher that you are currently listening to, we would appreciate you if you would like and give us a rating. Also, you can find us with the additional things we're connected to with our charity D&D group, Team Bonus Action. You can find us at teambonusaction.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitch, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky as Team Bonus Action. You can also find us on Twitter as bonus_team. And you can also find videos that we post up on YouTube as Team Bonus Action. We got that going on, and depending on when this episode drops, if you come to our site, we usually have a donation going on. At this point, we're recording in October. So we're part of Extra Life right now. If you end up listening to this in the early part of the next year, we are usually partnered with the Trevor Project, helping LGBTQ plus youth find a place to stay because sometimes parents suck. So that's us. And Chris, I think this might be a bon nuit.
Bon nuit, and I hope you have a good day or night or wherever you are. Thank you.
Drive safe.